The wind howled across the broken rooftops of Karvek City, carrying ash and the distant rumble of armored engines. From the highest remaining tower of the old courthouse, a lone figure lay motionless behind a long rifle. His name was Elias Vorn, once a decorated marksman in the National Guard, now the last defender of a city abandoned by its own government. Below him stretched the private army of the iron-fisted industrial warlord, General Wraith Corvin, columns of armored trucks, hired mercenaries in black tactical gear, and drones buzzing like metal insects in the darkening sky. By dawn, they planned to sweep through the last free district and claim the city's power grid. By dawn, Elias planned to stop them. Elias adjusted his scope, slowing his breathing the way his mentor had taught him years ago. The crosshairs hovered over the lead vehicle. He knew he couldn't defeat an army bullet by bullet. Ammunition was scarce. There would be no reinforcements. This was not about eliminating every soldier. It was about breaking the spine of the beast. Corvin's forces relied on precision coordination, drones guiding infantry, armored carriers protecting command units. Remove the head, fracture the nerves, and the body would falter. The first shot cracked through the night like a bolt of lightning. The drone circling above the convoy shattered mid-air, spiraling down in sparks. Shouts echoed below as soldiers scrambled for cover. Elias shifted, already calculating wind and distance. A second shot pierced the tire of the lead truck, sending it swerving sideways to block the narrow bridge that led into the district. Vehicles piled behind it in chaos. The private army had expected resistance, but not precision like this. Searchlights cut through the darkness, sweeping the skyline. Elias rolled away from the edge just as bullets chewed into the concrete where he had lain seconds before. They had triangulated the sound. He exhaled slowly, steady despite the storm building around him. His mind flashed to the families hiding underground, the children clutching lanterns, the old mechanic who had handed Elias his last box of ammunition, whispering, "Make 'em count." He would. Corvin himself appeared from a reinforced command vehicle, shouting orders. Even from this distance, Elias could see the man's fury, how he gestured violently, forcing his troops to advance despite the blocked bridge. Elias steadied his rifle once more. The wind had shifted. He compensated, recalling every hour of training, every competition he had won. He thought of stories of impossible shots, legends whispered about lone defenders who had changed the tide of wars. This would not be legend. This would be survival. He fired. The bullet traveled unseen, slicing through the night air before striking the antenna array atop the command vehicle. Sparks erupted, and communications went dark. In the confusion, soldiers lost contact with their drone operators and armored support. Units began shouting conflicting orders. Some retreated, others charged blindly forward. Elias continued his relentless rhythm. One shot, one disruption. Fuel tanks ignited. A munitions carrier exploded in a thunderous bloom of fire, lighting the bridge like a false sunrise. But armies adapt. Within minutes, snipers from Corvin's ranks had positioned themselves in surrounding buildings. Elias felt the sting of concrete fragments as a round grazed his shoulder. Pain flared, warm and immediate. He knew he couldn't outlast them in a static fight. This was the final stand, not because he would die here, but because this was the last position from which he could shatter their advance. With trembling but determined hands, Elias assembled his final plan. Days earlier, he had rigged demolition charges along the bridge's weakened supports, insurance in case of exactly this moment. The detonator lay beside him. He waited, watching as Corvin's elite unit attempted to clear the wreckage and push through on foot. They were halfway across when Elias took one last look through his scope. He found Corvin again, now exposed, rallying his men from the center of the chaos. Elias whispered a quiet apology to the city for what the blast would cost. Then he fired his final bullet. Corvin fell. In that heartbeat of stunned silence, Elias pressed the detonator. The bridge erupted in a roar of collapsing steel and flame. The center span gave way, dragging vehicles and armed men into the river below. Smoke and dust consumed the skyline. When the rumble finally faded, the only sound left was the crackle of distant fires and the whisper of wind. Hours later, as dawn broke pale and uncertain over Karvek City, the private army had retreated. Leaderless, fractured, and unable to cross the destroyed bridge, they withdrew to regroup miles away. They had not been annihilated, but they had been stopped. Rescue volunteers found Elias slumped against the courthouse wall, wounded but alive, his rifle resting beside him. He had not destroyed an army. He had done something far rarer. He had broken its will. And in the quiet light of morning, as the people emerged from hiding and saw the ruined bridge standing like a scar across the river, they understood the answer to the question whispered in fear the night before. Yes, one sniper can stop a private army.